Good afternoon with a capital H. Okay, here's an idea. How can language change anything? Seems like a ridiculous. How can talking to anyone really help? So, well, the bit you're missing is that everything you think is coming from the mental map that you have. So, when you have an idea, then you have a feeling that goes with it. Language is what describes the mental map. Language is what describes the emotion. Language is what describes the experience. Now, is language the experience? No. But we use language to talk to ourselves and to communicate to others what our experience is. So anyone that is using language with someone else, say in a therapeutic setting, is going to be using different language, different words, different questions than the person who is struggling or trying to release themselves from the negative experience they're having. So you could say that if you take an example, which is an example that I do on a regular basis with clients who don't seem to be, it's not that they don't seem to be able to hear what's being offered, but they've got resistance to what's being offered. Is that, let's say that you've got an issue or you've got something that's going on with you, and therefore everything that you say based on the world that you live in, your mental world that you live in, all your ideas, your thoughts, your perceptions, your values, your beliefs, your identity, all of those things, that's all mental, which produces kinesthetics, which is all the feelings you produce, and then the language comes to describe it. Let's say that world is red. So everything a person says is red, 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 red. So it's moaning about this, groaning about that, story about this, difficulty with that, hardship with this, hardship with that, challenge with this, challenge with that, this happened, victim to this, victim to that, right? Quite normal, a lot of compassion for the experiences because it's very innocent, nobody's doing that on purpose. And then all of a sudden I ask a question, so that's the world of red. Then all of a sudden I ask a question, and the question, or I pass some information, and the information is blue, which means that I ask a question that challenges the red, or tries to put a crack in the red, or tries to open up some space around the red. And then their response is red, red, red. And then I go blue. Then they go red, 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 red. Then I go blue. Then they go red, 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 red. And in that little exercise, after I've explained this little metaphor of red and blue, they may have been talking to me, say, for half hour before I go, okay, they can't hear anything, and they keep coming back with red, and they don't know they're doing it. So the whole point of sharing that little story with them is to make them aware that every response that they have is to keep the red and not receive the blue. Now, this is really important, isn't it? You would think that if someone comes to see me, the first thing that they would want to do was take the new information, take it in, change, and say thank you very much, and on their way. That's not how it works, is it? The human experience is a bit more complicated than that. So what people tend to do is, because they don't want to feel their experience, they use red to lock it down. They use all of their red to make sure everything stays in the same place so that they can stay safe. So if I ask a blue question to someone who doesn't like moving any of the red around, they're going to start freaking out because it's moving. And in fact, that's what probably caused the issue in the first place, is that they got thrown into the unknowable, and then sort of, oh, I don't like things moving around, I don't like the unknown. Surely some of you can relate to that. I know I can relate to that from years ago. So the issue is not that they don't want to get rid of red, that it's not safe to change the red. It's not safe to let the blue in. Hence we switch over to wacky story communication, unconscious communication, any way to get in touch with the part of them that is consciously resisting and unconsciously resisting, to see if we can loosen that off. The result of them becoming aware that they are fighting for their limitations is normally the first doorway that type of person has to go through. They have to begin to see that no matter what help is offered, they are already fighting for their limit. They don't know they're fighting for their limit on purpose. As far as they're concerned, they're just telling the story of what happened and how true it is and how real it is, and why they can't this and can't that, and why they can't have a fulfilling, awesome life, and they can't realize how amazing they are and how powerful they are to create such an experience. Okay, So if any of that resonates with you, why not hop across to the website? Have a look at the website, the link will be below. There are courses, there's membership, there's one-to-one, and you can take a free 20-minute call as well. So just let me know what you want to do, if any of those things, or if none of those things, because you're perfectly okay as you are. Awesome. See you later. Bye.